Hey there, friends. I'm Melissa Joy. Welcome to your reading with me at my channel, Joy to the World. And we are out here Soundside today, taking in some nice salty water sounds and the beautiful sunshine. So sending you love and sunshine. You could give some sunshines down below to say hi and let me know you stopped by. But meanwhile, this is going to be a collective reading because we are all one, y'all. We are the whole zodiac. And when we begin to get away from those identities, the identifiers, we begin to get in the unity, no polluting, y'all. There's room in the crayon box for everybody. There's no smelter, no melter saying, come on in over here, we're gonna blend it all down. No. We love the variety here. It's fascinating, it's interesting, it's intriguing. So let's get on with this. This is going to be a reading for the week and possibly for the month because these are energies that layer in. And even though it could say it's a timed reading down below, they are eternal because the unique thing about wisdom is it is spherical. It's not flat and linear. And when your soul brings you to something and it begins to speak to you, that is your time. You're not out of time or out of place. You're not out of money. You're not out of space. You're you, friend. Hey, welcome in. So let's open this reading up. First of all, I'll say I love you. And our card today, our inspiration card says, I am thankful for what others have done for me in my life. This is the card that I drew for us. Look at that beauty there. Look at this abundance, this recognition. I love that they're bringing it up into the headspace, into the mind space from the heart. And this isn't like list reading and those type of things, lip service, like when kids will say, I'm sorry, the parent says, and the child says, I'm sorry. And they hope that they're going to learn from that. Learn, earn, layers of repetition. I haven't been there, but it's like that huge ball of string or that paintball where they put one coat of paint and they keep adding to it and the ball just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why you can be carrying the weight of the world, is the world's mindset and the world's ways of thinking that's going to work. But in this case, it's stopping to, it's kind of like the premeditation, making choices that suit you, that fill your life with joy. But often we've been steered so clear of that in life, going, don't be so self-centered. Don't be so full of yourself. And we're little, and that shapes us. It puts up like these barricades or these dikes like they do rivers, and they said, we're going to control you here, and we're going to control you here because here's where you're freely grooving and bending and moving, and you got your rhythm going. It's kind of like a lot of modern songwriting that when people are with labels, they're like, no. Here's the key progression you're going to have. You're going to say these couple of words because if those key progressions and those words are in there, the song will automatically make $1 million and we'll get our return and you'll be famous. And they're like, what? You know, at some point, recognition is not enough. We're getting into the cognizing. It's funny that it's premeditating, or as I said to one of the viewers the other day, when I did a loop-de-loop. That's what I'll call it. I did a loop-de-loop on Libra. I trace back over myself and I'm in the Libra reading saying you can check out the Libra reading. You go check it out and laugh with me. Friends, and I said, oh, must be an alien. I said, put an alien down below. And somebody did. And I'm like, hey, thanks. And I said, isn't it strange that we're in a world now where being a human being is alien? It is foreign to us. It doesn't even exist how to live and how to be. So in this case, like the premeditation is choosing to take moments to change your mind when the confuggery is coming at it. Because when you don't own it, that's the difference. You have to own it after you agree with it and you begin to act on it. But when this stuff starts showing up around your head, ask me how I know. I have had some ear troubles. You want to believe me? And so I have to learn where sound is coming from. And after a while, just being defeated, I started recognizing those aren't my thoughts. It'll come in your voice or similar to your voice. Like we can often notice visual doppelgangers, but do we notice those auditory ones? Those suggestions, those recommendations showing up on the playlist around your head going, please press me, because I'd love to see myself come into this world. I know I wasn't willing to pay the price to come into flesh and have to learn and grow and to awaken, but I can come in through you. I can slipstream in through you and I can see what happens to you and I can dip and sway when it's too much for me and I can get in on the goods when your energy starts building back up. You have no idea that I'm living out my scheme through you. These are energies, people. That's why I often say don't just get bogged down in the person, places, and things that you're going through. Yes, notice them. Ask yourself for wisdom of what it is about them that is causing those impressions and impacts and sensations. Okay, that's what our senses are. This head is for sensations. It's for communication with ourselves, all right? Not just reading the environment around us. But that's that thing. It's almost like a big astronaut helmet where you have the air you're going to breathe in there, and those suggestions come about close to your voice or a family member's voice, or as a reminder of so-and-so said da-da-da-da-da. Or I always feel da-da-da-da-da. Or I can't seem to ever get over da-da-da-da-da. When it arises out of nowhere, you were all baking bread and you're like da-da-da-da-da-da. And you don't like it because you would, if you stopped and looked at that auditory image of what that brings up, if that's not something you want, don't put it on your plate. Don't let it get in DJ Sir Mix-a-Lot, okay? Send it going and go, I don't think that way. Move on. Move on. Send me higher love. Send me glory thoughts. Send me happy truths about myself. Remind me of the happy truths about myself. Remind me of the happy truths about myself. Because yourself really knows. But remember early, don't be selfish. Don't be so self-centered. Don't be so full of yourself. And you talk about the inner child and all that, but let me tell you, our self is eternal. It is limitless. That's what's so beautiful. That's why we don't just go into the memory banks or have those reminders of those prompts of the crap that we've lived through or seen, or the things that we're longing for or panting after. That just keeps you pulled in all sorts of ways, like some rickety old spirograph. Now, don't get me wrong. I love them to look at, but I don't want my life to just keep going all over the place, that chaos. So, get into yourself. Connect with yourself. Be self-centered, friend. What does that mean? Being in the center of yourself. You ever had where somebody's all up in your business? You want to know why? They are so off-center. They were told, don't be so selfish, don't be so self-centered, or they saw it mentored visually, mentally, auditorily, situationally in their life, whatever it is. But finding where center is like the Holy Grail, people. And what it is just listening to that quiet space in inside of you, the thing that brings peace, the thing that brings ease. But we've been taught easy is a diseased word. They're like, oh, if you get it easy, you can't ever keep it. If you get it easy, you just, who are you? Who do you think you are? And all that little, again, the bugs around your head. Don't select that if you don't want to eat it, all right? So anyways, when you're really in tune with yourself, you want the ease because that means there is no friction, there is no resistance. It's the heaven on earth. It is the 4D, the fourth dimension. That's different than the states of matter. But it's in this fourth dimension where heaven and earth come together and the red and the white make green. And your world works. You start to see the things that delight you because they are here. But when the heart is in a state and the mind is in a state, you won't notice them. That's why those suggestions come in here, because if it comes from here first and it comes in verbally, the verbalness has a specific connotation, a specific conditioning for you, a stigma of sorts to it, okay? But when we talk with ourselves and I see something beautiful, I might be like, and you might be like, ooh, or you might be like, oh my gosh. You know, we have different responses. That is the natural part of ourself. It's the part that, ooh, all those things, the soma, the liquid gold. And that's where they're looking to get you. So set yourself up by making choices when those suggestions, because we're not thinking beings, we're creationary beings. All right. So when those things show up, be like, I don't have to listen to you. I can choose what I listen to, and just call them suggestions and be like, nope, 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 nope. And then you won't be judging yourself, and you'll start getting into the center of yourself, and you'll be like, I'm feeling good. And you'll be like, why? Oh, I'm self-centered. Look at me. Isn't that delicious? Not friction or car crashes or bumping or rubbing the roads or having conflict or drama. You'll be like, no wonder we were told early on to not be so self-centered, to not be so full of ourselves. It was a setup, all right? Because when we land here, we land into death. Now it's time to wake into life. That's why often you hear me talk at this channel about life says. Life says. Life is where love comes from, and love is where joy comes from. Okay? So, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. And let me tell you, that gratitude is that premeditation. Your self says, oh, thank you. Thank you for stopping to ask me. Thank you for stopping to include me. So it comes from thanks. The self is like, oh, they know I'm here. They want to do this together because it's inside your body. It's like the mechanic, the one who built you, the one who made you, the one who has all the talents and skills and gifts in there without hating or finger pointing or condemning or diminishing you. It always has a way, like that GPS, when you make a turn, like you're like, I don't like the direction the route that they have me going. I kind of know how to get there, and I think I want to go this way, and it'll reroute for me. Yes, yes. Yes. So anyways, it's showing, that's beautiful that we're starting there, because the 2 cards that popped out, and there's this weird chunk, y'all. I was trying to just shuffle them so we could go there, and it just birthed itself out, and it talked about people being stuck in despair. Let me see how to turn this so you don't get up in the shadows. Maybe somebody needs some sunshine. Be patient with me, my friends. Let me get situated. Let me get myself around her. Okay, there we are. So, there's like this story. Are y'all good? Do we saw the shadows? Anyways, forgive. But it's about wanting to get away from that. This was at the bottom of the deck, and I didn't even know it because I'm trying to shuffle, and as I'm shuffling, it just stops. And it says that we want to get away from that, and it split itself open. It's talking about this despair, this desolation, because that despair brings desolation. And maybe that despair, it doesn't just have to be verbal for everybody. For some people, it's that feeling of like, I'm doing the things right that everybody else says works for them. I don't know why it's not working for me. And that's kind of like where this was, is this rote gratitude. Write down the good things that happened to you today. But you know, you can write down things that you know should be funny, but if you're not actually laughing, is it really funny? Is it funny to you right now? So what we're doing is awakening your funny bone. Does that make a clearer picture? And you're like, yes, because I am tired of all this desolation of everything and everyone in the world and its ways, because that doesn't suit me. That didn't work. This didn't work. I tried this. They seem to have had great potential. You know, I used up every trick in the book. That's why the trees are gone. It's kind of like the Lorax shell. And I'm left sitting here, and all there is a concrete jungle, and there's barely anything for my soul, my spirit to feed upon. So I love that they started premeditation. I hadn't even really looked at these. I'm like, what is going on? Because when you premeditate, you set yourself up for it. And meditation just simply means to transfer states, to change states. What state is that? From the state of the world to the state of golden itself. Awesome. You, only you in the world. And enough with enough, friends. We are plenty. So let's go and see if that was it. We're at 13 minutes. Okay, Death, 8 of Pentacles. It's kind of like all the eggs in one basket. In the center, we have the Morning Glory. What's that? What's the bat show up as? We have this victory. And I would say the greatest victory we have is in choosing to be ourself, our authentic, human self. And it comes from the I am, knowing who you are. That's why they start off with how you speak about yourself and to yourself, and what you're allowing to speak to you, using your voice as a disguise or other people's voices as a disguise to remind you of all this other business. When you don't come from business or for business, you came to experience. And so it's not about getting it right or wrong. It's about getting into your life, getting into your body, getting into your breath and into the moments. How? By getting into your body, into the center of yourself, giving yourself permission to be this beautiful, exorbitant, luxurious victory. Mystery solved. You're not a mystery to you. You're an experience. There might be things that you don't know yet, but they are knowable. And some part of you knows. And you know, if things don't seem to be exactly what you want right now, like I don't live on the beach anymore. I live across the bridge. So there's some effort in getting here, but I found ways to make it work for me. So I'm not living on the beach anymore right now. But my soul and myself know, we'd like that again. That's part of our calling, is to experience some shorelines, right? And so I know that it'll happen. It's not about trying to make it all happen now or deciding what comes first, because again, that's linear thinking. Pardon me as we step on in. It's getting bright out here. Okay. And a little bit hot. Could I tie this hair back? Hope it doesn't snag this curly hair. My rubber bands for my cards. But if you got curly hair down there and you know what's up, give me 2 thumbs up, all right? So anyways, getting in this truth of yourself, the deliciousness of yourself, and watch how many more opportunities pop up. How much more of yourself comes your way, because it's here. But as you begin to experience it, you begin to reclaim yourself and your soul and getting that old squatter energy out. If you had known, it would have come differently. But, we're born utterly dependent. And so we're shaped and molded in ways beyond what we can fathom, because children are organic learners. They take everything, they extrapolate it all from what's around them, and it comes into its own flavor. So that's what we're trying to get you back to, but without the linear and the rote, because that doesn't get you back to that. That gets you into more systems, more approvals, more checklist, more managing of yourself, but not living from first person viewpoint. That means in here where you're looking, you're living out, and you're like, ooh, yeah, ooh, oh, what about that? Ooh, I got a great idea. Coming from that place, okay? So let's see what else is going on in here. Knight of Cups, what are you talking about? It's funny because it says the Lovers. I'll show you who's over here talking. So the Hierophant is often not on a soapbox, but the only one willing to speak the truth and to stand up and say, I got something to say, and came along with Knight of Cups. And Knight of Cups, like, it's over there, it's over there. There's quite a few cards. It's like bypassing the Emperor, the systems, that linear thinking, the expectations, the demands we put on ourselves, and just start asking ourselves, start conversing with ourselves. That's this week. They're going to be breaking up some toxic energy, some toxic mirroring, some venom, some poison. That's not picking on the sign of Scorpio. We are the whole zodiac, friends. But that's where there's been the confusion. Because Scorpio often represents the eyes, the central line through our body. And it doesn't just run front to back. It runs down through the side. It's all the planes of existence. And it's how our body knows to move. It's from that centering element. But there was, it's kind of like, you need to be bitten in order to use the anti-venom. So you have to experience the venom to experience the anti-venom. And it's like, who signs up for that? Who says, oh yeah, that's what I want, is trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations. Staying in the perpetual dark, the perpetual night. Which, whether good or bad, that's staying in the controlled dream state and in the nightmares for some of us, all right? But we want to get you awakened into creation, which things can be so much more than what's just floating around in your mind that day or in the toilet bowl. If you let too much stuff in around your head, take it back over with flowers and clover. Put the shiz out the door. So that's what they're talking about here, is it's a struggle for power. Whatever this relationship, this dynamic, this family unit that's been going on, some of this is the facing of yourself and coming to the truth of who you are. Tempering the Mars energy, because Mars is entering into Scorpio. And where it has been, it's been sitting as saying that it's got to be hard to earn it, or no pain, no gain. Man, just hustling, throwing it down, laying it down, staying up all night, grinding, doing all this, is those type of things that there's like, that might have been somewhat a element of success in the previous era, but not in this new one. This new one is like, really? You got time for that? So you're gonna break that thing down and smash it down in front of me to show me how great you are at rebuilding the dollhouse. Because there was one little thing in there you didn't like. What? what? Sometimes we can let that one little thing, see the point? That one little thing get us snagged, snared, and entrapped. And we start obsessing and fixating, because the last 25 to 30 years has been this big self-help era. And it's great that people go get therapy and people, talk about their problems and all that. That is important. It has its place, and it has its relevance, and it has its effect. But there's also a lot that it doesn't cover, right? Because it's almost like trying to swim in the concrete surrounding the pool, but never finding the pool of refreshment. That's what they're trying to get you in here, is to the pool of refreshment and past the point of contention. Bang! Getting past that point of contention. Because if there's tension there, there's an attachment. There's a connection. And that's something that's pulling you this way or that. And don't start blaming on people. They're pointing to you, because this could be a mirror, my friend. And irregardless of where that mirror is, mirroring from yourself into another, into the world around you, that's irrelevant, because that's the trap. You could do that forever and ever and do your self-helping and all this of like, well, I need something to bother with, or I have something wrong with me in order to be normal, in order to have something to bring me down, to keep me from being haughty or being arrogant or being, suchy much, or, whatever. And you could all be, I'm in my glow up, I'm in my whatever, but then have that little thing inside you that reminds you of your less than. Well, that less than is a minus sign. It's that thing to create debt, loss, 8th house, Scorpio, Saturnian energy, that old Mars energy of it having to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. All it needs to be, friend, is true. True is your word for the week, for the month, for your lifetime. Be your true self. We could say authentic, but also true. It rings clear as a bell. And I love it in this deck why often some of the pentacles show up as silver. Silver has to do with truth. Gold has to do with wisdom, right? And then you don't have to stay here being shut out from greener pastures. And not greener because they're over there, greener because your heart sees them. And it's like, ooh, that tickles my fancy. That is your life on the other side of being trapped in the maniacal mind, of the dream state, of the nightmare state, of the world's ways of thinking, of the merry-go-round. Like, that's the despair. You're like, I got this good body, but my head ain't much of nothing. It's a numb skull. A numb skull. Okay? Same as dumb, numb and dumb. Because when you look up the definition, remember stigma words, right? You look up the definition of dumb, it means to reduce down. That's why there's that phrase, dumbing it down. Okay? No more dumbing you down. Going back to sleep, no wonder people want to anesthetize so much, or they've wanted to check out and leave this world physically. Hey, things have the potential to get better. They don't have to get worse. That's why we talk these practical things here, is to bring you into life. Not being dead isn't enough. I went through cancer and I'm like, that's not living. After I came out of it, the person I was married with never wanted to go anywhere, do anything, and here I survived something as drastic as that. It's like, don't you want to live? And it was just shocking to me. And they're like, you don't know what I've been through. And I'm like, what? Okay. It doesn't matter what level of devil anybody's been through. If it has numbed your skull, it's causing you to dumb yourself down and to live by the world's ways and thinking in order to be a part of a tribe or a troop or a group. But that's the thing. Ultimately, you're not. There is only one you. So be you. Step into your dreams and desires, and we get to start seeing your world broadcast all around it, popping up. And because you live it and you love it, that awareness, that vibration begins to become true to this. Remember how in the Lorax everything started to restore when that one quit figuring on biggering? That means just live in worldview as opposed to one's individual, personal truth. I had no idea. It's just a clump and a chunk, and they're still all clumped up, and we're just walking through this. I love it how sometimes the messages just flow in these like hurly-burly hurdy-gurdy type energies, and then other times they're like whoom, coming together. Look at that. This is you and your golden self in the center of yourself. Put Mars beneath your feet. You're like, I'm putting the dis-ease down here. I'm dissing the ease. I'm not going to dis-ease myself, because the prefix dis means to reduce, that to take away from. Remember how that less than, that diminishing, that prefacing, those little phrases and those words that bring it down so you're not so, above people. How are you above? There's no measuring. There is no contest. If they had a Melissa Joy contest, I am me. I'm the only one there. That's the victory. And it's like, how much more are you stepping into you, discovering more of you, experiencing more of you, tasting more of you, loving more of you? Because that's a bakery up in there, not just an akery. Get rid of the shiz, diz, and the pain. And it's like, ain't nobody else stepping up, but I can't live this way anymore. We need to have some bread in this bakery. That is the Chiron wound being healed. Now, if you are into astrology, just pardon if you're not, just give me a whole little second or two here. Go find Chiron in your chart and go check out that zodiac reading. They're just locations. That's all it is, friend. And that's what it's talking about, because Chiron wound is like the cobbler's kids don't have any shoes. The baker's family doesn't have any bread. The chef's house doesn't have any food. The airplane pilot doesn't take anybody for a ride. They don't ever travel anywhere. It's those self-limiting factors because of the experience that you had of banging your head when you got here, landing in death, having no power, no control, and then having to wake up and fix all that occurred in those 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 60, 80,000 years, however long it takes, right? But that's you coming here and going, this like that easy button, and like, that was easy. That was easy. Because when we train our mind to think easy, it looks to find the ease, the path of ease. Like they talk about easement on property. That's that added room, that grace to learn and grow as you experience. To grow as you experience, to develop and grow as you experience, right? To engage with these energies, because you're creating yourself, what? With yourself. And you have a say. It's not like that a limited, just like fate. This is how it's going to go no matter what you want to do. And that's why people are getting hopeless and they're feeling helpless. And some people are checking out in a multitude of ways, right? They want you to check in. So check in with yourself. Check in with what the ease is, what makes you comfortable, what makes you feel good, what makes you go, because that starts getting into your truth, and that gets into the trust. All right, friends? So she's sitting there with her silent wisdom, and this one's like, I come from up on high to let you know what I've seen. That's why it's easy, okay? And look at you, then you can mount up and you're like, okay, this thing's as big as I am. You apparently have more confidence in me than I do. How am I going to get there? How am I going to make it? How am I going to carry this? And here she is. She's like, not just confidence. I know you're going to make it. I know that you begin living now. You've begun to choose your truth, to live true to who you are, because that fills you more with just check marks and accomplishments and checkpoints. Every breath is full and rich and teeming with life, and you start to abound, and you start to wonder, how do I know these things? Oh my God, I heard that, I feel that, I saw this, I experienced this, I asked for this, and it happened. It starts creating like popcorn, people, and once those first kernels pop, it really just wakes up from there, and that's what is happening here. So that's like where you get over that Mars and Moon mind of it's got to be hard, it's got to take a long time, it's got to be difficult, so that others don't judge me and whatever else. And it's like, that has its own place. That's no big deal, because see, this is like that. Do you see what I mean? And this is your divine self, your golden self saying, hey, you got this, you got this, you got this. Look at all these truths building up and storing up here in this nest that you have. But we want to take this from a home into a honey home. a sweet nectar of life abounding. And to do that, we got to get rid of the trap. And that takes us back to where we began, friend. And so if you need to, you could just hit replay at the end and listen to those first 2 or 3 minutes and let this thing come full circle. This time here is an investment in yourself. These aren't just words I'm selling you. I'm not putting trigger words out hoping that you'll get all like stirred up. Ooh, let me get titillated. Let's keep feeding on joy, feeding on joy. No, the whole point of this channel is to get you feasting with yourself. More than just an acre. No more pain, no more struggle, sorrow, suffering, grief, regret, self-loathing, condemnation. No, you get bread. You get bread. You get divinement. You get, where's the other one? Your victory. And you get to leave this old craptastic. If you're ready for that, you could put craptastic in the comments down below with whatever quotes or emojis or whatever else you want around that. Don't be crude, but you know what I'm saying. Release it. Get that thing out. Choose your mind. And what you mind and what you pay attention to. Not this crap, remember. And the rest will follow. That rest doesn't just mean everything, it means that peace. And when that peace arrives, you like, psh, got it. I hope you got this. You could join our channel here. I'd love to have you here with us. Give it a like. You can leave any of those comments down below. Let me know you were here. Share a bit about yourself. Share because you care. All right, I love you. Bye.